Welcome to Focus Gaming News media booth to Aram, who is the head of B2B marketing at Pascal Gaming. So glad you could join us. Thank you for being here with us today. Now, we are in our first day at SiGMA. We've already got everything underway. The parties have started already, but this is one of the big introduction days. So before we talk about all the details of how your year has been, what you're doing here, I just want to ask you, Aram, first of all, Pascal Gaming is a casino game provider delivering on-demand and compelling gaming solutions and ensuring ultimate gaming experience for players. But can you take just a moment to fill in? I mean, that's a great description, but fill in the details for me. Tell me something about Pascal Gaming that I don't know from that.
Basically, we work and live in the game. Game is what we are living in, actually, the whole team. And we feel we are the players on our own. So we focus on the experience in means of the features that we'd like to see, the game logics that we'd like to see, and what is missing in the game of current competitive content available in our industry nowadays. And we focus on those specific features. And we say, guys, let's do an experiment. This is a bold experiment. This is a risky business, but we go for this, and this is paying off very well. We are adding absolutely new features which are unseen before to a game which is basically conventional and very much familiar to most of the players. So we make a complete game change eventually with the name to deliver the players that are basically loving a game, all new experience.
So that's your USP. That's what Pascal Gaming is all about. And you, of course, you're here with us at SiGMA 23. So bringing that game promise to this event, what are you hoping to achieve whilst you're here?
We wanted to showcase our best games, the recent releases. We have like 6 games in a month in average, and all of those games have a very unique features on its own. They feature things that are changing the game. So we want to share it with the overall industry, and SiGMA, of course, is a global event where the whole world, the whole industry shows up, and it covers the whole world, all the markets. Specifically, we are focused on creating market-specific games, meaning every single game has a very specific features that fit to a specific market with a specific aim based on our researches and data. So eventually we want to meet all those people all over the world to see that those games are really relevant, to offer them, to showcase them, and show how great it would be to have those games in those markets. So this is why we are here.
Well, listen, Aram, you're just talking about different markets, game player expectations, adapting your games, I mean, this is a lot, because this industry is already a really big, thriving industry with a lot of players in that. So what is your priority from Pascal's point of view to keep on top of the game? I mean, it's a highly, highly competitive industry. How do you keep up there?
We are choosing alternative ways. Although the industry is well established and thriving, without doubt, we see a strong mainstream trend, and we want to add something new to this trend, not to come up with an alternative altogether solution, but come up with something which will make a difference alongside in the stream and will make the whole mainstream, the hype, change and add something. We want to be kind of game changer in the industry in a way that our features would be replicated a lot, in a way that basically what we will achieve, the others will start following us. So basically we want to come up with a new innovative solutions, and lots of people, they of course choose risk-averse approaches. They want to follow up the main thing that will bring in quick money, but we want to do something really different. And this is why we want, this is our principle, how we could be on the top and before the game.
So you use this term game changer, which could not be more appropriate in this industry. You're talking about changing games. So my leads on to my next question, which is, and you kind of touched on it just a minute ago, which is, what is the market demanding? Is it demanding new games, or do players prefer adaptations of tried and tested methods?
We are kind of trying to converge both.
Okay.
So we do not want to come up with a quite risky business and go for it, but at the same time we are trying to capitalize on something which we see missing in the nowadays content. Probably the market and business is expanding too quickly so that the game providers could keep up with it, and sometimes people choose a strategy of having basically one or a couple of games and capitalize on them worldwide, which creates issue of basically the game evolution on one side, because the game is not evolving, because of the fear that probably one feature would alienate some part of audience, and on the other side it's more profitable to have market-specific games and come up with solutions which are specific for very specific market. Saying this is Europe, Latin America, Africa, Asia, country-specific up to that stage. And this is bringing more affinity on the audience side. This brings in more engagement. The games are captivating. They show excellent results in the end. And eventually they bring in something new, and we want others to follow.
So has this been what's shaped your 2003? I mean, we're at the end of this year, and you've just talked about a lot of development, a lot of change, a lot of real identification to market-specific development. Has this been the focus for 2003 for you? What has Pascal Gaming been doing? What's the big news that's happened for you in the past year?
We've been working hard this year, and this event is a very nice wrap up for us to see what we achieved starting from the beginning of the year. Basically, we almost tripled our game portfolio on one side. We have obtained a lot of data, and eventually we have come up with several solutions which will be applied definitely. This year we launched virtual sport products with an all new wrap-up, with all new markets, and the products are working very well. They are also market-specific products, quite specific.
Can I just ask you about that? So, I mean, this is probably the golden question that you may not want to tell me because you might not want to share. But you've mentioned this all the way through our talk this morning, our discussion this morning about this market-specific products. So in other words, you're not taking one slot game and then running it out across the world. You're looking at different markets and tailoring that. So what are the most challenging markets? Where are you seeing the biggest challenges when it comes down to differentiating the gameplay between, let's say, the Asian market and the Latin market or Europe? I mean, what are you seeing that the biggest focus, the biggest changes are?
The largest challenge that we are facing at this moment is trying to engage the audience of players, which is focused on skill-based game. They prefer skill-based games. Given that Pascal Gaming is basically RNG game developer, we are trying to add more skill and provide more control to the player so that they would be feeling this and developing this perception of control to the higher degree with our games, and feeling that basically the win is their own achievement, not just a pure luck. So this is the main challenge. There is a risk, there is a very thin balance that we are trying to achieve, which implies a very complex math, a very specific logic, and overall wrap-up of the game, meaning design, visual, animation, and everything. So this is we are trying to achieve, to provide players this control. of the
And
game.
this is all across all markets or specific to certain regions?
Of course, Latin America is quite skill game based specific. Asian several markets like India are basically skill game based, like Korea and so others. So such markets and such audience is really complex to achieve. Similarly with African markets, so they prefer. So some prefer very rich visualization. Some prefer simplicity rather than having robust designs. But by end of the day, all they want is control. So this is what we are trying to bring in with our crash games, with our table games, adding features so that they would be not a pure luck, but a control. And the most important feature that we added so far in our crash game, which delivers this to the full, and we enjoy huge user audience with this game, which is called fishing, which is one single feature basically that made the whole game change, and every experience that eventually players receive is they can bet after cash out before the crash, meaning they are not waiting for the crash. They are not bored. They are actively in the game. They can bet and cash out as many times as they want before the crash. This is a unique game. We don't see it elsewhere, and this is this huge gaming audience.
I love this, and I love the fact that you know your market and you know those niches and those details that make that market impression so powerful. So I've got one last question for Aram. It sounds like you've had a massive 2023. What is on the cards for the coming year?
For the coming year, we are going to launch several big hit games that will be quite relevant for Latin America. We will be expanding our quite strong retail solution for bet shops and land-based casinos. So we are trying to bring, and quite successfully, crash games to retail. And crash games, the only ones in retail that have provable fairness as a feature, main feature. So we will be focusing on retail a lot. We will be focusing on specific games, like Latin America oriented games, and we'll be focusing on all new crash games, which will be like massive hits.
This sounds so exciting. And I'm so thrilled for you. And it sounds like you have a massive year coming up ahead of you. So make sure you make the most of SiGMA, just not just here at the event, but also enjoy it and relax and have a little bit of a break as well. Aram, it's so good talking to you. Thank you so much. And I wish you guys at Pascal Gaming the very best for the coming year.
Thank you very much. Thank you for warm words.